Hello and welcome to the Secret Hot Tub Podcast, the show where we talk about Transformers, toys, the latest kissing and cuddling techniques. I'm Gavin from TRDQ.org, and with me is an absolute cracker of a kid. Many see them as the heart and soul of the Transformers community, and it's hard to argue. Well, you could argue, but you'd be wasting your time, wouldn't you? And more importantly, ours. We've got with us today Matt Adams, aka Thew. Thew, how are you doing?
I am dreadful. Thanks for asking me. Can't believe you wrote me into this.
I'm sorry. I had to complete my Unicron trilogy of guests of dudes in their 40s talking about Transformers.
I mean, there's much more than three of us, I'm sure. But no, I mean, genuine answer. I'm great, actually. Thank you very much for having me. This is a rare privilege. I have got a bit of a cold, and I live in a motorcycle hotspot, and next door's dog is going absolutely bonkers. So this is going to sound amazing.
Do not work. Listen, I am with the most reactive dog of all time in Toby. He is downstairs. He will be going nuts at some point, so do not worry about that. A motorcycle hotspot. Is that as exciting and sexy as it sounds?
It's my two favourite protector bots, all wrapped into one. But it's just like occasionally you'll hear a very loud motorbike go past, and I'll shake my old man fist at it.
Oh, you're not like, yeah, brother, and you give them the horns, and then...
I'm not that badass, no. I'm a giant aging nerd, and I wish they'd all leave me alone.
I think that
There's
because
one
of
now.
your... Oh, that's a Yamaha 125. I think because of your... I think metal in general, and certainly, you know, you're known for your love of the heavier rock.
True.
There's a mild tough guy persona that comes along with liking that kind of music.
Sure. I mean, there is a lot of sort of the residual toxic masculinity sort of involved with that sort of scene, and there's a lot of crossover with like bikers and all stuff where dudes wear black and leather and get tattoos of snakes wrapped around naked chicks on fire. So it's all very masculine, and obviously I'm quadruple Y over here. I'm the manliest bloke you'll ever meet. I'm definitely not a little fruity weirdo at all.
Well, look, I'm in esteemed company with you today. You are what you'd call, you wouldn't call it necessarily UK Transformers YouTube royalty, but if there was going to be.
Well, this is kind of a joke that me and McFeely have. Whenever like we lock eyes at a convention, we just go like, "Oh, king of YouTube," we just sort of have this little gag that we're like, the bosses of UK Transformers YouTube. But that is certainly not the case. Like, especially recently, there's crops of new, like fresh, good quality YouTubers cropping up all over this place, and it's nice to see it's so active. But like, I mean, I guess because I've been around since 2007.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that. If what you say is true, it's nice to be thought of like that. I don't know if
He's
that's
so
the actual
humble.
perception. I don't know if you're just bigging me up so I'll dig myself a
No.
hole.
No, absolutely not. No, there's no traps on this podcast. This is all from the heart.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'll just check my questions here. How do you respond to the allegations that all of your review toys come stolen from Indonesian factories?
I steal them myself. It's fine.
Right.
It's
Okay.
all crime. I'm a crime-powered channel. I am very well connected in the Nottingham Mafia, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, big up Error Wash.
This is going to be it now. We're going to be like, he's Nottingham. He's near a biker hotspot. This is all the fans are going to be zeroing in on Google Maps.
Yeah, let's do
Yep.
it. Evidently, I'm quite dangerous.
Well, that's it. You're dangerous because you like heavy music.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So you've been, as you say, you've been doing this for like 16 years. I mean,
17? No.
17 years.
Yeah, terrifying.
Fuck's sake.
I know, it's dumb, isn't it? I was 23 when I started this. I'm fucking 40 now. But
That's mad.
It is. It's dumb. It's a dumb thing to have done for so long.
You're stupid.
I am. I'm a big stupid man with silly hobbies and bad taste. and evidently, I mean, I'm kind of making it work though. It's I don't know if I'd continue to do it if it wasn't going so well. That's a lie. I would still do this. Nothing could stop me doing YouTube. It's too much fun, and I'm too invested.
Especially after 16 years.
Yeah, it's just something I've always enjoyed. Yeah, like that sort of build up. Like looking back at the early stuff now, I mean, it still holds a very special place in my life, and it's something that I don't regret doing. But some of that early stuff is tough to watch.
Well, you see people doing it, like people who are obviously now you've got this audience of like 80,000+ people on YouTube, and like when you see, I went back to your first video just to see, in prep for this, because I'm a professional and I want to do, I'm a journalist at this
point.
Getting
your due diligence in there, yeah.
Yeah, and the comments mostly now are like, this is where it all began. This is where a king was born. A king was crowned on this day. And you're like, obviously, it's like similar to doing like art and stuff. You look back on the work you did, 20 years ago or whatever, and go, I could do so much better than that now. And I think it's better to look at it that way than to be sort of embarrassed by it. It's cool.
Wow.
You show, look how much better my videos are now.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, with any sort of creative pursuit, if you can call it that, which it is, it's a creative. I hesitate to call it art, not an art form. I wouldn't think necessarily, but it's.
I think I'm going to say it. I think it's all art.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree.
That's all you need is a bit of validation, really.
Yeah, I mean, what else are we doing this for? But now, I've heard it said, if you're not embarrassed by last year, then you're not making any progress. Which I think there is some truth to that. But, also, sometimes I'll dip back into something I did, 6 years ago. And it's like, how did I do that? How was I that funny then? Obviously, I'm an older bloke now, and I have different priorities and different sort of approach to, I guess... again, hesitate to call it comedy, but a different approach to what's funny and what makes things funny. There's stuff I did even 4 or 5 years ago that I would never think of now.
You think you've lost it? You think you've lost that spark?
Well, I think it comes and goes. And I always second guess myself at every stage of what I'm doing. The last one I did, Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. I hated that video until I'd finished it. When I was writing it, I was like, this is bollocks. While I was filming it, I'm like, this is weak, and I'm blowing the delivery. During the edit, I'm like, nothing in here, there's no peak here, this isn't good. And then I watched it back, and I'm like, oh, actually, that's awesome. So sometimes it doesn't land until it lands. So,
I think we spoke about that with Nick Roche in terms of being the best creativity can come sometimes when you surprise yourself.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice moment when you realise you still have that ability.
Yeah, you've still got that. I mean, as you say, 5 years ago, because looking through your channel, I was like, oh, remember you doing the video game stuff, and I sat and watched the playground of the NES game, the Ultra Magnus. Yeah, I just sat and watched it. It's really good. It's really funny because obviously the start of it, you're just eating shit the entire time, just getting killed, and it's just the exasperation where you're like, oh, I've committed to this now, and this game is awful, and I'm going to have to just sit down and play it.
Yeah, I don't think I got past level 2, did I? I think it because it's such a challenge. The trick of that game is realizing you just have to run.
Yeah,
you have a shoot button. You are able to transform at arbitrary points, but don't just run.
Yeah, it's like if only Ultra Magnus himself had that actual. Realization at any point.
Just get out of there.
Yeah, just don't bother. I'm not going to hold off anyone. I'm not going to bother trying to unleash the Matrix. I'm just going to run, and that'll be it. I think I tried to pinpoint my first time I watched the first video of yours I watched. I think it was Energon Omega Supreme, and that was 13 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that for me, that in my brain that's a more recent one, but it fucking. I think it's because the eras of the channel, I think I kind of it because there's a visual divide. You can't hide it when you move house and when you're on camera. And I did move around a lot for about 10 years. Just that's the nature of renting. But it's difficult to obscure that. So in my brain, like, that was address 3 or 4, and it was only sort of what would it be, 2010, did you say? 2011?
Maybe it would have been something that, about that 13 years ago, so yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah. But for me, that is still, like, in the more recent era. But then, like, I've still got my long hair in it. I cut my hair in 2013.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifyingly long time ago as well. But yeah, okay, what did you think, Energon Omega Supreme?
I didn't like that at all. No, that was awful. So no, I think if anything, it reminded me of the big betrayal of yours to me personally, which was you got rid of your hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's another guy. He's a big fella. He's got long hair. He's bald. He's got a beard and glasses. I was like, kinship. And then you pull the ultimate move of not only then going, I can actually grow back my hair anytime I wanted, and then you got all trim. And I was like, this motherfucker.
Well, I got my shit together. I'm sorry.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy. He can just grow hair whenever he wants. What must that be like?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that to me. And a couple of do you know Bisto at TF Nation? He said to me, "I thought you were a genuine bald man, but you were faking the whole time." No, I was just shaving my head because it's low effort and like it's zero maintenance, and I liked how it looked. But I sort of I'm not going to say anything else there now.
No, trust. If I could grow hair, I would have a big lustrous head of hair right now. You know, I think anyone who's bald, who's like, I choose to be bald forever, is, they're lying to themselves.
Well, I mean, you have to sort of claim an element of power about it, but like, for me, I feel like maybe it was a small betrayal because it was just changing. It was a style change for me. It was a vibe refresh, and a lot of folks don't have that option. So I am here to apologise for my privilege.
I mean, that's nice to hear people of your status own up to their privilege and apologise to the community at large.
Using my platform, yeah.
So, like, I'm assuming. Again? It's something about Transformers.
Cool.
I'm assuming 16 years ago, or 17 years ago, you'd planned all this out. So you start doing the reviews, you build an audience of 80,000+, you've got a killer Patreon, you review toys for a living, you host the Hasbro live events. It's clear from the beginning when you go back and watch the first video, all of this was kind of intentional.
That was definitely.
Yeah, how do you organise a plan like that? That must be a lot of moving parts.
You simply have to be awesome.
Yeah,
that's
where I'm going wrong.
Kicker. That's the trick. You just have to be an awesome dude.
See, that's why I'm not going to make it. That's why I'm not going to make it.
You've made it, Gav. You're fine.
I'm small time. I'm a worm wriggling on a big hook right now.
TRDQ, Gav, small time. Not in this lifetime.
Maybe not in stature, but certainly if my mindset, I'm so small and petty. Oh my God. And jealous of people's success, you better believe it.
Well, you should be. I am very intimidating.
I wasn't talking about you. So...
This is fun. Was there a plan? There was never a plan. I had no plan about anything in my life at any point. And I'm monumentally lucky to have done all those cool things you just said. Like, I got to go to friggin' Hollywood and do a thing with Hasbro. That's nuts.
That is nuts.
I'm not a guy. I'm not a presenter. I'm just some punk, It's wild.
I think that you may not be a presenter in the way that, like a wanker might be, in terms of like, you're not doing the hands and the you weren't. But
Gav, are you implying that I'm not a wanker?
I'm trying to say something nice. Trying to say something nice. Okay, you weren't quite like a wanker, but clearly, like, it's like there's a difference between being a presenter who's like media trained and Transformers has been around for 40 years, that kind of voice. But you're just like a very personable person who knows how to talk to a camera, who can, is very, can be very warm and open. And that's what they need for something like that. They don't, you see other live streams where they just have like a marketing person on, and they just clearly don't have a passion for it.
Yeah, it's a little awkward when they do that. I think that the three guys from the Transformers team do all right because they clearly love it.
Yeah,
and they are. I can vouch that they are all lovely dudes with a lot of passion. But yeah, when they just get like Jessica from marketing to come down and you can tell that the realness isn't there. But like I suppose again, doing the YouTube thing is kind of a form of training for that because I'm used to speaking to a camera like my friends are in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that sort of carried over.
Yeah, there's a genuine feeling to it. Like, it can be, as you say, this guy definitely likes the product he's talking about. And that can be difficult to get across sometimes, especially like if you went into media training mode and started doing the hands and the media training delivery and cadence of your voice.
In 1984, Transformers.
There's no Transformer more iconic than Optimus Prime, and then everyone would be like, "This guy is terrible, and we should unsubscribe from his YouTube."
I'd fully agree.
But how was that? So you went to Hollywood. You went to the Hasbro place HQ.
It was there 2 years in a row. The first one was probably all right to say it now, but I was that was in Burbank in Hollywood, and that was nuts. But I think it wasn't quite the sort of production that the Hasbro guys were aiming for because it got a bit overblown at first. The PulseCon thing, I think it was because at first they had like Flow Rider and Fallout Boy coming in to do like musical spots, and still in the 2022 one, I was doing the pre-show, and I watched that back, and I was like, well, I think I held my own, but there's a couple of spots where it sort of lost momentum, and the comments, the chat, the whole time was "Get on with it, we don't care." Yeah. So the last one I did with Dan Larson, name drop of Toy Galaxy, that was in
Toy Collecting Hunk.
He's my god, he's so tall and very handsome, and his voice
a dreamboat,
is so velvety smooth. He is a dreamy bloke. but that was in New England, in Massachusetts. Pawtucket, I think that's where they're based, isn't it? Pawtucket. Yes, I should know. I was the one who was there, but I have kind of forgotten, and I'm also operating. I'm operating at 60% today.
Exactly. Hey, listen, the location of where it was.
Yeah.
It could have happened anywhere,
Yeah, it was actually in Leicester.
I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but it was in Leicester. But as well, like I remember watching it and seeing you, and there'd be like, obviously, like you'd be like, there's like. Where's my fucking auto cue here? Like the things aren't coming up, and I'm on live right now, and I was like, that is the most stressful possible thing.
It is. It was a little stressful because, like, I think in the 2022 one, I was petrified basically. So I was rushing things at first, but there was a gap in the middle where they played the trailer for the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I sort of regrouped then, and I spoke to the director, and he was like, "You're doing fine, just settle down, slow down a bit, and stop clapping. Just breathe."
Honestly, as you say, like I rushed through or whatever. Like, mate, that was I honestly don't. I'm not blowing smoke up your arse here, but I think you handled that better than 99% of people, or anyone certainly in those in that comment stream that was like, "Get on with it." Like if they would have fallen to pieces in that situation. So you handled it very admirably, I thought.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there was a really good team there as well. I have to do the thing that everybody does. It's true though. You gotta say, like, if it was just me, if I'd planned the whole thing, it would have been a shambles. But like, they just got me in and they were like, right, do this, and they handled everything and they put me at ease. I even had to borrow some shoes because.
You didn't forget to pack shoes.
I packed 2 pairs of shoes. I had my standard everyday shoes that I ruined the day before because I went walking in Griffith Park in LA, which I didn't realise is a fucking desert mountain range. I thought it was just a park. I thought it was some grass and a set of swings, but it was actually a mountain. So I ruined those shoes and I couldn't wear them. So the only other shoes I had were, do you remember the Zavi Transformers shoes? They're based on the design from the
yes,
the Transformers the movie. When you go through the O, And there's
Yes,
a
I have them somewhere. I've never worn them, but I do have them somewhere. I keep saying I'll save them for TF Nation, and then the day before TF Nation, I go, I'm not wearing those because I haven't broken them in, and they'll be really sore.
I only wear them at TF Nation and other. I wore them to the NEC Toy Fair the other day actually, but they're incredibly comfy. So I thought it'd be cool to wear those on camera and be like, oh, genuine Hasbro moment. But we were on a green screen and they keyed out, so it just looked like I had no feet. So I had to borrow some trainers.
Imagine you had to do it. You did it barefoot. Imagine that.
Oh god, that would be the ultimate solution. With
Imagine everyone's like, what a choice.
Little fat hobbit feet sticking out the bottom.
No, but I think, like, honestly, I mean, and things like that obviously opens up a certain amount of notoriety and audience. It opens you up to more people.
Well, the problem was I forgot to plug my channel, so I gained nothing off that.
I'm sure they'll find it. If you just put in Transformers reviews, I'm sure they'll find you.
Yeah, notoriously, there's only 2 or 3 of us that do that.
Yeah, exactly. Legally, there's only a few that do it legally. I was talking to McFeely about this and about how, for want of a better term, how fucking easy he has it. If he wants to talk about a subject, he can just make a video about it. Find pictures of it online. We have it harder than anyone else on the planet, probably, Thew, because you have to actually have physical possession of the thing that you want to review.
Yeah. It's true. We are very beleaguered in that way.
Yeah, like I want to just say that it's not as easy as you might think. If you want to review, I don't know, Jetfire.
That's a good example, sure. Yeah, you have to actually own Jetfire. You can't just pull up a PNG of it and be like,
in 1984, Hasbro released Jetfire.
Yeah. You can't
Did you stop yourself doing an Irish accent there?
No. Fucking hell. Terrible.
Noah.
That wasn't my impression of McFeely, by the way. That was just me being a dickhead. But we chose the difficult path of talking about physical objects that require being owned. You can't just doing a movie review. All these other fake ass people on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just pull up Netflix and be like, oh, I'll make 40 minutes of content on that thing. Try actually having a collection that gives you loads of joy.
Yeah, being like we're going to give my live reactions to Transformers the movie, and then, be like, well, that just happened, and things like that. And everyone's like, they're funny, man.
He didn't.
He's behind me, isn't he?
Transformers
and
1,
that
gonna be great.
do you know one thing about Transformers 1? Like, I don't know how you feel about it. Were you very excited by it, or just a little bit excited by it?
We're pretty well served for stuff right now, right? And I mean, there is a current the trend of good animated movies. Like the Spider-Verse and your that last Puss in Boots, which everyone liked, which was genuinely great.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
you got Mitchell
the
versus
Last
the
Wish
Machines and that kind of stuff. So this is just the Transformers version of that, and it looks all right. I thought the the trailer release in space was very funny.
Oh yeah, the countdown to a countdown that was going to be very good.
Everybody set their alarms to tune into a live stream and then has to wait another hour while watching a weather balloon. That's such a dick move, and I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, no. As soon as I saw it, at first I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" And then I saw the rage about it, and I thought, "Aye, that is quite funny." Good on them. I've come to terms with that I don't really vibe with much media of Transformers, and if someone was to say, "Oh, you like Transformers? What should I watch?" I would say nothing. If someone, let's say at work, or someone I respected, I'm not talking about people who watch my stuff. I'm talking about people that I respect. Asked about Transformers, I would just say, I don't know. I was like, Beast Wars maybe, but not because it looks so dated.
Everything has an asterisk, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because, obviously, the go-to piece of media for me would be Transformers the movie. but you have to say it's good, but it's really cheesy and it's for kids and it's 30 years old. Is it 30? It's coming up on 40, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah.
But point is, yeah, it's old as fuck. It's a fun piece of retro nostalgia, but like coming to it fresh now, it's probably going to look really daft. Oh, maybe Bumblebee, but again, asterisk. Yeah. It's a bit cheesy. It's kind of for kids.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
You start to think: is this all just for kids? This toy line based media, is this all for children?
Nah.
You know, you can't say that about the movies because they're pretty mature and cool.
Yeah, they're very Call of Duty.
Yeah. Remember when Bumblebee peed on that guy?
Oh yeah, there was nothing weird about that.
Yeah, nothing that probably like awoke quite a lot of things within young people at the time.
Yeah, I'm not going to interrogate that.
I mean, but imagine that though. Imagine seeing that and going, "Oh, I'm into that." You know, now 15 years later, you've got a robot peeing on you thing.
I'm not going to say that's never happened.
Are you interested in the going to see the 40th thing in cinemas? It's like the first 4 episodes or something.
Oh, not really. I don't enjoy the G1 show. I like, even at the time, I'm like, this isn't very good. Because I always loved the comic. Like as a kid, that Transformers for me was mostly the comic. Because firstly, the cartoon was never fucking on, and the bots all looked a bit wrong. Like classic example, Inferno. He always looked like dumb to me. But in the comics, again, you've got like the anomalies, like the way Broadside looked in the comics, and like Carnivac never had the same face twice. But for me, that was more sort of for me. It had the more sort of British sensibilities. And looking at it again, at somebody, my mum actually was given a shitload of the old comics, which I sold on for charity. But I got to rifle through them and look at all the old print ads and things, and just like the little character profiles that come up, the little tech spec thingies, it's really cool, and it's obvious it's written from like a British comics point of view, which is more sort of for me. So I don't know if I'd be asked about watching cartoons in the cinema, not to be a granddad, but I'm just not fucking interested.
No, but the only thing that's got me mildly interested is they're doing it in cinemas all around in our area, but they're also doing it in my town hall.
What?
So, yeah, they're just doing a showing in our town hall. I was like, and it's a small venue. I'm like, that could at least be interesting to see what other creeps show up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, if
there's
those
literally
at the community theatre, I'd probably go to.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to go to the Showcase Deluxe, am I? Come on.
No, that's too much. They're asking too much of us to do that.
Yeah, I can watch that here. Come on.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, I've started like doing the Patreon, like started doing doing quick reviews of the G1 show, and I'm only like 9 episodes in, and I'm like, there have maybe been 2 okay episodes that are like mildly tolerable.
Yeah, it's a tough watch again. Like, but also I think folks like you and I will have done that sort of viewing at TF Nation or similar. We'll have sat in a room full of people and watched these things and enjoyed it on that level. But that again is a controlled environment, isn't it? It's all people who are into it. If you just turn up at your fucking local town hall, that's going to be that'd be a good social experiment. I think you should you should live stream it.
Yeah, just start shouting out stuff like they do at TF Nation, and just people are like, "Look, it's not fucking Rocky Horror, mate. Okay, calm down." Transformers the movie.
I was fully that guy at the first auto assembly. Just like I was sloshed, by the way, but like anytime like any character came on, like Ultra Magnus shows up, I'm like, oh, I love him. Springer shows up, oh, my boy. I couldn't. It was just like I was overtaken by the joy and had no fear of being obnoxious.
You know,
which is a terrible thing for a moviegoer. But to answer your question, yes, Transformers 1 looks all right. And, yeah.
So I've forgotten I'd asked about that.
25 minutes ago.
This is what's going to happen. I'm on this journey to become a good interviewer, and one of those things is remembering the questions you'd asked. I'm very bad at that.
What do you want to do that for? I think, isn't the point of a question to spur the conversation?
You'd think that, but, you know...
I mean, it's not the news, is it? I'm not in the hot seat. I'm not an MP.
Not yet.
Yet.
Yeah. Have you ever considered leveraging your fame into political success?
Constantly, yeah. That's the end game, really. I'm going for PM, minimum, if not bigger.
Imagine instead of like a red briefcase holded up for the budget, it was like one of those Combiner Wars box sets.
Silver YouTube play button.
Yeah. Shit, you're on course, man. You'll have a what's the 100,000 play button? That's on your sites.
I mean, it's been in my sights for a while. I think I don't do enough to, get the kind of growth that sort of level requires. Like, I'm very happy with where I'm at.
That's good.
But I would like to get a silver play button at some, but it's not really a priority. It's not something I'm going for.
Yeah, I think you have to pay for it as well. I think at this point, like they used to obviously send them out when it was. Now that it's pretty common, not to say it's not an achievement, but there's more channels hitting 100,000. I think they're like, you got to send us like $79.95 or something to get the.
I mean, I'd rather buy a Magmatron.
That's true of most things, though. For me, I'm just like, I've been burned so many. I say burned, I've enjoyed them, but burned so many times on Commander class stuff that I'm like, I'm not spending 90 quid on that.
Burned? They're generally pretty good, aren't they?
Oh no, I don't. In terms of now that I see more or less every one of them is like fallen in price so significantly. Like you can get like Motormaster for 40 quid now.
Yeah, that's a stinger, isn't it? Yeah.
And you go like,
I think Magmatron is definitely going to end up in that category because, like, outside of the immediate circle, nobody fucking knows who Magmatron is. Beast Wars second, like, we love it. Was it second or Neo?
Beast Wars, Neo, yeah. I think it's a hard one because it's objectively a cool idea for a toy. Like, this guy's made up of 3 dinosaurs, but no kid is going to see that on impulse and say, "Can I get that £90 toy?"
Yeah, that's the thing. It's because it's a collector priced toy that would appeal to every 6-year-old ever.
Yeah, but most collectors are like, "I don't know what that is. That's stupid."
Yeah, toys for again. We're back to the toys for kids moment. It always comes back to that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to using my interviewing skills. I was like, I could come back to what you would suggest to someone if they said, "I want to get into Transformers. How do I do it?" Would you just say, "Look, just read the comics or read like the IDW stuff, or don't bother"?
So there's this YouTube page called TRDQ, right? Go on there, and then when you're all done, come out and buy a Earthspark 1 flipper wheeljack. You'll be hooked.
Yeah, then you're done.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The one flipper changer guys are fantastic. The Skull Cruncher's so good.
Yeah, they're great. They're a nice sort of. I don't know if you'd even call them a gateway toy. They're just fun. They're just a dumb little fidget spinner for your desk.
And training kids to use butterfly knives in the dystopian future.
Yes, that's obviously the intent of these toys.
Yeah.
It's all for combat. They've got guns, most of them have got guns. That's because of army.
I haven't really spoken about this much, right? I believe. Do you think it's better or worse the idea that Transformers shouldn't have guns anymore? Like they do come with guns. Maybe they should come with some sort of melee weapon. And I was like, is that just as bad?
Well, that's an interesting one. But like, I think you and I grew up with toys that all had guns. And we've turned into big softies.
That's true.
So I don't know what the extent of the impact or the influence that they would have on a young mind is. Yeah. I mean, especially when like kids are playing Fortnite and that. Fortnite's full of guns, but it's still just dumb knockabout fun. It's not the same thing at all, is it?
I guess in context, and as well, like Transformers aren't running around with actual guns. They're running around with big. This shoots liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's really any harm in it. It's an inherent thing of, the toy industry and diddly-do and historic warfare, and that's what boys' toys are all about. But, I don't think there's any harm in the Optimus Prime having a big gun.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's more interesting if he has something else, like the axe is cool, or like going back to Prowl having traffic lights.
Yeah,
it's more fun if they mix it up a bit. But I don't think the fact that they have guns it's not gonna break the bank. It's not gonna be the thing that radicalizes somebody.
No, not probably not Transformers. No.
Nah.
G.I. Joe though. Oh my god, some bad bastards
Different,
that like
man.
G.I. Joe, I tell you. So
Like who? Dan Larson.
Dan Larson. I'm going to get him on the show. There's no
Please.
two ways about it. I'm going to get him. He's a big fish. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to land him
You better.
soon, tonight. So we're talking about the convention scene. So like, what is a convention like? Let's say TF Nation. What is a TF Nation like for you when you are the Roger Moore of the Transformers collecting community?
I've often thought that. Yeah, I've often
Yeah.
thought I was him. Well, honestly, like last year was kind of, I don't want to say unpleasant, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was very intense. And I mean, also, I'd just come off the back of, I'd moved house like 2 weeks earlier.
Right.
And I'd just, like, during that, I was in the process of making my enormous Unicron video, which was very labor intensive and very stressful. So having just come off of those two incredibly demanding feats, I then relaxed by sitting in a room full of 1,000 people, all who know my name and want to say hello.
Yeah.
Which, it's
Nice.
and I don't want to give the wrong outcome from this. I don't want to come off like, oh, I hate it. They're all shit. They're all lovely, but it's so much.
Yeah.
It's very intense. And again, I feel like, oh, I'm so famous. But in that room, I am famous.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's-
It's one of those things that like I joke quite a lot about that with because I have like obviously like an eighth of the audience that you do on YouTube and even less in other places, and it's like it's not overwhelming for me because it's quite nice. Again, you have a very small, steady stream of people who might be like, "Hey, I like your stuff," and you go, "Thanks, man," and that's it. No one's like, "Let me take up an hour of your time to talk to you about the effect you've had on me."
Yeah, like ordinarily, like I wouldn't mind that, but it gets to the point where I have there's like a cloud of people following me. I'm just trying to go and buy a Blitzwing or whatever,
Yeah.
and I've got like literally 20 people around me trying to say hello, and that's again,
Handing you Blitzwings.
I'm not going to say that hasn't happened, but yeah, it becomes impractical for the show as well because I'm clogging up the dealer hall by just being in there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want people to piss off. I don't want to be, oh, leave us alone. But it's fucking full on.
Yeah.
It is pretty stressful. I mean, and on the complete other side of things, I got spotted in the street on the way home from band practice the other night as well. There's a geezer closing up his coffee shop. He's like, oh, Thew of YouTube. I'm like, yes. I'm covered in drums. I'm sweating. I'm ravenous for fried chicken. And I'm like, hello. Yes, Transformers are good, aren't they?
And they're just like, I don't really collect them, mate. For kids, aren't they? But
What would you recommend?
but there's no real like solution to it either. That's the thing. Like there was all this talk, like what if you had a table at the event that like you were going to be here for a certain time, but then that's just being a guest.
Yeah, to a degree. It's either I need to get on the roster or get a table in the forge where I just sell like photographs of myself.
Yeah.
Which because I don't have merch. I have a Teespring store, but that's all fulfilled in like Lithuania or something. So I can't really sit on a desk and sell T-shirts.
If you can listen, if I can do. I was born an idiot, right? Medically an idiot. If I can make daft badges, anyone can do it. That's all you need to do. Buy a badge. Make a badge that says your full name and address on it. And tenner a pop, these rubes will be lining up. Trust me.
Oh, please. I mean, well, it's easy to say that as a talented artist as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very easy. I think what you could do, right? Get the badges. Then when they buy it, you say thanks very much. Now don't speak to me again, right? So you've had your interaction. Now enjoy the rest of the show. Go over to Toifu.
Yeah, that's the move. Like it's either be a guest or get a desk and not be able to move about and enjoy the show myself.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do this year is I'm just not going. I'm just going to have a year off.
Yeah.
And come back to it maybe next year. But I was thinking maybe as you were talking about badges that say "Leave me alone," I might do what Steve Martin used to do. Like if someone comes up and asks for his interview, he just hands them a card that says, "This card was handed to you by Steve Martin."
There you go.
I do that.
Brilliant.
That's the
Like,
move.
there's no reason not to do that. Other than it would be incredibly arrogant. You know, other than that.
Unbelievably rude, but also quite funny.
How is the band stuff going? So you've been doing that, you've been back into it sort of full on for a while now.
Yeah, I think, I quit the last band because I was in a band. I've always done bands here and there, but I had to give up the last band because I was doing I was working full time and I had my home life and I was also doing YouTube, and the band is like a fourth demanding thing, so I just something had to go, so I just quit. In I think that was 2015, so I just left that band. That was band was called Stop Hitting Yourself, and that was fun, but it was again it became impractical.
Yeah.
And then there was a few years later we came into lockdown, and then like we all went a bit nuts, and like so many bands got started after lockdown.
Yeah.
So
People started bands and adopted dogs. Those are the two things that happened.
yeah, I mean, what better things are there to do in life? Start a podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, but it was a thing that like I was overcome with the need to do it again. And I was in Stop Hitting Yourself was my mate Greg, who's the guitarist, and so like we went to Bloodstock, which was like the first event back after lockdown. I think it was like the first festival to come back at some risk.
Yeah.
But we all went along and we had a wonderful time, and me and Greg got pissed and started talking about doing a band again. And we just fucking did, just the two of us. So yeah, we're called Rogue Limb, and we got an album out. I say out. I've got like 100 copies of it in my bedroom. We've got Bandcamp link. We're doing it all self-funded, which means we paid for the album to be recorded and haven't promoted it at all, apart from on my YouTube.
Oh well, hey, that's something.
It is.
You know.
It's something. It's going okay. We're but yeah, it's going all right. Thank you.
That's good though. Have those additional things that have nothing to do with, you know, your other hobbies necessarily is always good. Like again, having just that's what I feel sometimes when I'm doing artwork, and if I'm drawing Transformers and then I'm doing a Transformers thing and then I'm going, fuck me, like I'm getting a bit sick of Transformers, frankly.
Yeah, it can happen. It's nice to have that separation. Because the band is completely laser beam free zone. We don't do Stan Bush covers. We don't have any songs about Galvatron. We've just got angry fucking songs about like the horrible things in life, and that serves as a conduit for me to not be so angsty on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because there was a period where, you know, all the bad shit was bubbling up, like especially during lockdown. I was going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like all I do is make videos about Transformers. This is meaningless. It's bollocks. I'm wasting my time and my energy doing this. Like a little bit of that was starting to come through, and you can see in the videos I was starting to resent it. So just to have this totally separate creative output to do something utterly unrelated and far more negative, honestly. Like our songs are rancid. It's great.
It's like a stress reliever, essentially. Cleanse yourself of those emotions for a little bit, and then hit the positivity train. With the videos.
Come back to YouTube bright and breezy and chipper and give everybody a good time and talk about robots and love that in a totally separate avenue.
Yeah.
But we did a gig in Leicester this weekend, and a couple of folks did show up off YouTube.
Oh, nice.
There was a lovely fella who I stood outside and spoke to for a bit, and he asked me to sign he had a almost indistinguishable knockoff G1 Bumblebee on card. It looked real.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can you sign this?" And I'm like, I don't want to ruin it. He's like, "It's fake, it's fine." So I did. I just put in the little, there's 4 little squares with the transformation steps in. And I was like, "Party on, my dude." And he was delighted, and it was lovely to see him. And then we played, and he had a terrible time and left.
That's the best though. I can imagine the smile draining from his face as you start playing. Where he's like, "Oh no,
oh dear." Well, this is it. Like, I mean, I don't assume at any point that my music taste aligns with what someone else might like, because it's hardcore and it's very it's aggressive and very yelly. We do almost no clean singing. We have one song where we have one clean sung line, and that's it.
Yeah.
So like come in at that cold from the outside world. It's a lot, and I understand if people aren't into it.
Yeah.
But I also did appreciate him and a couple of other folks coming along to check us out. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Give it a chance. We love it. But
you're not gonna
if it's
not gonna be for everyone. You know,
you
I like that.
Chance.
I like that kind of thing. Like, again, I don't like, because I think 18-year-old me would want to kick my head in, considering what I listen to now. Like,
where are we now, Gav?
Oh, like, I'm a big fan of German pop synth legend Fancy at the moment.
Don't know that.
Yeah, it's bad music, like, but I'm just into it. You know, just nice. You know, I went to see Carly Rae Jepsen recently and cried.
Oh, wonderful.
It was so good. Like, I cried as a grown man.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, my partner likes a lot of different music than I do, and we've been to some gigs where we went and saw Charlotte Church. Actually,
I saw Charlotte Church a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic.
Was it Late Night Pop Dungeon?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, brilliant. Yes, it was amazing.
So good, like such a good show. It's honestly one of the most like positive shows I've been to.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was weeping a lot. They played a lot of like breakup songs.
Yeah,
which is fine. But and they ended it with the end of Purple Rain, which always gets me anyway. So that was a bit of a cheap shot, but yeah, wonderful. I mean, you can't just do one thing.
Breakup songs don't affect me because I've never broken up with anyone.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I've got 100% success rate in relationships.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if you end up marrying your high school sweetheart, you know what I mean? Beautiful. That's me.
Unbroken, continuous stream of success.
Yeah, and she would say the same. It's been a real honor for her. But yeah, so like when you are thinking about, so like we're talking about the reviews side of it. You're doing your YouTube stuff. You're having a big old laugh. You're like this.
Oh.
In the same spirit, like we're talking about how again McFeely has it really easy, and he can just pluck a PNG from the internet, and then his video is basically done. I often find that there's toys. Like I would think maybe there's a toy that wouldn't make for a good review that I like. That I like let me think. The G2 Orange Jazz that came out.
Oh yeah.
Like I mess about with that toy quite a bit. I like it, but do I have anything interesting to say about it? Probably not. But like, do you think with your experience in doing this now for 17 years, you're able to just riff on any old shite and make it good, or do you think, do you have to pick and choose?
I do. Like, it depends what the brief is.
Right.
Like, if there's a toy with more than 5 things to say about it, I can probably bulk that out into a review, because the way YouTube works with longer form stuff, it's only really worth doing a longer form video if you can do minimum 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of stuff that falls in the gap where it's either completely not worth it, or it's I don't know, fucking interesting bot up there. Skylinks, Earthrise Skylinks.
Yeah.
Amazing toy. That's
Brilliant,
12 minutes easy. And it's, I'm very pleased with the video I made about that, and it's a wonderful toy. But what I think my answer to this question is YouTube Shorts are wonderful. Because I've just started doing these recently, and you can, it's kind of a nice creative exercise to say, like, this toy, I like it, but it doesn't matter and it's not interesting. But it only needs to be 60 seconds. So you can just say, you can point out, like, oh, the head's good, it transforms like this. That's brilliant. And that's a whole video, and you're done.
Yeah.
And, like, it's fulfilling, and it's kind of a challenge to see how good can I make this in 160 words. And it's again, like I say, it's something you like and you're interested in, and you've found something to talk about, to share with people, and it's fulfilling in that way. And also, it sort of gets it off your plate, so you don't feel indebted to this toy.
I do feel a bit indebted to it. Yeah, I do feel like that, like things like that. I go, that's a really good toy, but I definitely don't have a videos in me. Maybe I should look into shorts.
It's worth a go, man. It's worth a go. I only started recently because I would have done it earlier, but I couldn't figure out how to do the vertical video thing.
Right, okay.
Because if I film on my phone, then I can't edit to the level of precision that I'm used to. And if I move that onto the PC, then the frame rate's different and it's not quite compatible and it comes out looking weird.
Right.
So what I did was I took my camera and I flipped it 45 degrees.
Right.
90 degrees, rather.
90 degrees.
And then you just correct it on your phone and it's...
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Because I like that. I used to do everything on... Sorry, there's my dog going bananas.
That's all right. What's his name again?
Toby.
He's a gorgeous pup.
Oh, he's lovely, but he's also a pain in the arse sometimes. So, in fact, what were we talking about before Toby started?
Reviews.
Reviews. Who
We're
cares?
talking about Transformers reviews. Imagine that shit.
How can they be done quick? That's what I want to know. I want to get them done. That's the thing. Like I used to do videos on my phone, and I would do like my voiceover through the internal mic on my iMac, and
Right.
I kind of like, as you were talking about there, like going back years and looking at the original stuff. I'm like, I think that's quite charming in a way that I don't have now, and I need to try and recapture some of that. Like there's, like I only because I wanted to try it out. You know, what would life be like with a better camera or a better mic or a better light or lights at all? Any kind of lights, not just relying on natural light from the window. And things like that. So like, but I've gotten to that. Not that I look anywhere near as professional as like you or any of the other major guys, but I'm like, I like the idea of it being a bit shite, and I want to try and maybe roll back my my stuff a little.
No, I fully relate to that. Like, I think, I don't think your videos ever looked like shitty. Like, I always thought, like, from the. You've done like hundreds now, haven't you? You've done like 200 or something.
I'm currently at 341.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
I know, it was stupid. That was the pandemic talking, though, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I did some of my best work in the pandemic. It's fucking... What else are you going to do? Sit around and talk shit about your collectibles?
Exactly, yeah.
Get your toys out!
Yeah. No, I think that's the... For me, like, I was... Maybe I should go back and maybe like shorts would be a good way to do that. Is just to do something quick and get it going. We're not here to talk about me though. Thew, nice try.
We're two of the same bloke. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time because
we're good.
You've got a cold.
Well, I appreciate the want to keep things succinct. Like this is what we were talking about just now. Like. Mm-hmm. And again, that's sort of what I wanted to do in the first place. Like my earliest shit, like when I first started doing the one bot at a time reviews, they were 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. So it is nice to be able to come back and do a bit of that with shorts in a 60-second format. And definitely recommend giving it a go.
And then, of course, you can put them all into a compilation like you have, and you've got another video sitting there completely.
Exactly, yeah.
So if folk don't interact with shorts, they can watch this.
Yeah, it's a way to stay agile and to, blah, 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 blah,
so
increase demographics. I am.
Well, look, we're going to end on a fan favourite section of the show. They're crying out for it, Thew.
Can't wait.
Every episode I ask, what TF are you talking about? Essentially, what's your favourite Transformer? And the best part about it is, you can say a toy, you can say a character from a show, you can say anything, and the listener, they can do fuck all about it. Who's your favourite Transformer?
My favourite Transformer, I think, is Astro Train, probably.
That's good.
Because, I don't know, I mean, I do love Skywarp, but the reason I've been able to amass such an enormous collection of Skywarp toys is that there are that many.
Yeah.
Because people like Starscream, and Starscream always gets the redeco treatment. But, like, Skywarp as a character, he kind of isn't one. He's a colour scheme, and that's fine, that's valid. But Astro Train kind of is the same. Like, he's just a goon, just a big... He's the space bus, he's just a bloke hanging about in case anybody needs a lift home. He is the driving crooner of Transformers.
Yeah, like, do you have a favourite Astro Train toy?
Well, I'm looking over on my left now, and I've got the Toy Colour Fans Toys Thomas.
Yes, I was tempted by that.
It's stunning. It is stunning.
I see Fans Toys. I'm going to look it up again because I remember being very impressed by the look of it. I do love Fans Toys stuff, like how clean they all are and how I'm a big fan of how these things look. I've got their Decepticon Headmasters.
Skullcruncher in that? Those guys?
Yes, Skullcruncher, Mindwipe, and Weirdwolf, or whatever they're called in
Horrible. Did they do a Horrible?
No, although Kang Toys did a version, and it was maybe the worst toy I've ever reviewed in my life.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones where it's like we've made it worth the money by being really complicated, and you go, oh no.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst part of third party for me. Yeah, they have to. It's either a justification of price thing, or it's a check us out. We're so grown up thing. Yeah. And either way, it always just rubs me the wrong way. I hate it.
Yeah, I'd much rather they were simple.
My current deskbot that I'm fiddling with is G2 Afterburner out of the Sky Scorchers.
Oh, okay.
Little blue jet lad.
Oh, that boy, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's surprisingly complicated, but like this for me is like this is gonna sound terrible, but this is like the nice balance of, because it's a complicated transformation for what it is. It could easily have been like the Machine Wars, just fucking fold in half.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It does everything 3 times more complex than it should, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But when you
gives you a little bit of time to spend on it, but it's not overstaying its welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes 20 seconds rather than 4.
Yeah.
And the problem is with a lot of third-party stuff is that it takes all day. Mm-hmm. That's your afternoon, is transforming friggin'... I had one recently come into the show and I publicly kind of lambasted it and regretted it afterwards. Mastermind Optus Priminion, I think it was called.
Okay.
The War Within Optimus Prime thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. And it was like, it is alright, it's just so very not for me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, and also I didn't realise that the instructions were in the box. So I could have taken my time with it.
I saw you talk about that in the last opening review. I think I saw you were giving... it wasn't the one you were giving away, it was another one. But I saw you saying, the instructions were in the box.
Yeah, they were in there the whole time.
Who cares?
I mean, the problem was... again, this is going to sound terrible, but I wasn't really interested in the first place.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I'm not definitely in that situation where I'm getting stuff sent to me all the time, but when I do, I feel very obligated in a way, and sometimes that leads to good stuff. Like sometimes, like some people send me like Power Rangers stuff, and I'm like, Power Rangers? Are you kidding? That's for kids. That's baby stuff. But I end up always enjoying the toys. The toys are always really good fun, big, simple, tactile blocks, and yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I've never had a bad time with a Power Rangers toy.
Yeah,
There's one that there's like a blue one that turns into like a little round spaceship thing. I think it's called the Astro Megazord or something.
Yeah, I got the updated version of that a while back just because I liked the look of it, and it's such a good toy.
It's huge, isn't it? The new one.
Yeah, he's a big lad, but he's not quite not like Titan scale quite, but he's big.
Right.
Yeah,
Like commandery sort of big lad.
Yeah.
Big lad version.
it's very good.
Deathsaurus-ish.
Yeah, he's got like a lot going for him. It's very simple as well. That's the good thing. Like you can transform it back and forth in a little space of time. Like I was really close to buying it maybe 2 TF Nations ago. There's like the Power Rangers toy that just turns into a pyramid.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know the
So
one.
good. It's like I didn't know what it was from. I was looking at it going, this thing's incredible, and it was just a little bit outside my price range, and I was like, okay, for taking a very quick impulse purchase, if it was like 30 quid, then fine, but when you get to like 60, I'm like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah, at some point it stops being fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just becomes another expensive thing you've bought.
Yeah. Do you think that you're like? Oh, in fact, you know what? That reminds me genuinely. Before we finish up, I need to commend you in a way on this. But I was like, when you talk about expensive toys that you're not that into,
Right.
so obviously your RoboSen review did gangbusters.
It did all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and because of the fact that no one I've never seen anyone be like, this is, with a thumbnail saying I hate it and stuff like that. You're just like,
they were so pissed off with me. It was
oh,
hilarious.
I fucking bet. But I was like, good on you, man, because like there's always that temptation, even with me being a pissant. Like I'm nobody, but they were like, do you want to review Bumblebee? And I was like, sure. And I did it, and I was like, it's all right. Like I wouldn't buy
Does
it.
it transform? Does it, the Bumblebee?
No, he just dances about daft.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's just a big. At first, when I was like, it's just like a big action master, really. I was like, I tried to talk myself into thinking it was actually really all right. But then you're like, in the video, I was just like, I wouldn't recommend buying it. I don't think I would buy it for myself. But yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I was a bit too harsh, because you think I don't want to jeopardize, future possible, opportunities. And then you're like, wait a minute, you're not getting paid for this.
Well, that was kind of part of it. Like, they said that they offered me a free robot so that I can make a video about it.
Yeah.
And I did, and they didn't like the video, so they asked for the robot back. So I'm like, all right, fucking fine. Because what I was thinking was, I don't want to fucking keep this thing. So maybe I could move it on for like 100 quid or something, just like to somebody else who really wants it and hasn't got a grand floating about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just fucking asked for it back. But I did. I not as. Yeah, this is a real punk moment. I broke it a tiny bit because the smokestacks clip on.
Yeah.
And there's a clip. I don't know if I put the clip in the final video, but I definitely put it in the blooper reel I put out recently, where it just fucking drives itself off the table. And it landed on the ground, and the clips on the smokestacks broke, and I couldn't fix it. And then I'm like, you know what, deal with it. Because those things, those components probably cost a cent to fix.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Or just to cast a fresh one. So
I
don't worry
wonder-
about it.
I wonder what the deal is there then, because like I didn't give them a positive review. Like I don't mind the stuff at all. If you like it, great, go for it. But I wonder, like, because it took them about a month to ask for it back, and I was like, I wonder if in that time someone saw it and went, "Get that fucking back off him." He's not keeping that. He's not putting that on eBay and getting like 300 quid. No chance.
Well, I don't think they're things that people need to own.
Yeah.
It's a display piece, isn't it? You put that in a shop or an engineering expo and let it drum up some business or whatever. It's just. I don't think you need that in the house.
No, I think that's what really got to me with the. I recently, in fact, while we've been doing this, my review of the Command and Convert Optimus Primal, the big animatronic thing.
I quite like that.
Well, this is it. I spent more time with that in a short period of time than I ever did with the RoboSen Bumblebee, because it's so daft, and I don't feel like I'm holding something that I could be in trouble for breaking, even if I owned it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that thing costs 15 quid at Smith's right now. You could buy 30 of those.
Yeah, they've gone full deep discount, haven't they? They're definitely worth £15.
Yeah, totally. I feel okay with, like, I paid like 35, and at the time I was like, I don't feel that it's going to get cheaper than that. It's not going to get, it was 120 quid, it's not going to get cheaper than 35. And now seeing it's like 15.
Yeah.
Wild.
Good God. No, I'm stunned that thing didn't sell, although I'm not really. Because, I mean, at full price it was 100 quid or so, wasn't it? And it's the Magnaboss question again. Magnatron, rather. It's like, who wants that and it isn't a big Transformers fan? Because, like, folks about our age, like, if we didn't do YouTube and, you know, content, quote unquote, would we buy that just for us to have at home? And are the kids going to give a shit?
I would, because I like a monkey, I like an ape, but I am a big Optimus Primal guy, and if I saw it for 15, 100%, I might even buy another one at 15 quid, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
I did that with the Beast Wars reissues, like the Optimus Primals, because they got discounted pretty heavily. So when they dropped to like 12 quid, I bought like 3 of them, and they're just in the loft now. I'm like, if I ever need to give them away to someone,
just in case.
You never know. I'd rather I had them in storage than a kid had them.
We're back.
I can only apologise. I am a massive fanny. What
happened this time?
I realised that the problem was, even though I had upgraded, I was signed into a different email address, so it wasn't giving me the update to. Yeah, so that's my fault.
End.
I am a bell end of the highest order. Do you worry about the possibility of future like collaborations or sponsorships, for example, when you do something like that, where you're very, very honest about your feeling, or do you think that's only serving to make your brand a bit more trustworthy, or you're a real man of the people, is what I'm trying to say?
I am, yeah. Well, it's nice that I have the flexibility to be able to say that this sucks, because like. My show is funded by my Patreon, which is people who, like, you know, it's people who support me genuinely out of a want to do that, and, you know, I'm very grateful for that. And also, YouTube revenue is part of it as well. So as long as I can continue making good, decent videos that people enjoy, then I'm not concerned about, like, irritating any sponsors. I'd like to stay on side with Hasbro.
Yeah.
Because, you know, doing PulseCon and everything is an absolute treat and a privilege, and I'm loving being able to do that. But even when I was speaking to them, like when I spoke to the people, they kind of enjoyed that there's no bullshit there.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time when I first started getting offered like third-party toys to review, like the was it Apollyon?
Yeah.
X-Transbots Apollyon. I remember, like, I tried to make my review of that like more positive than just to make a good impression, because I knew this was a new product that they were revealing. I wanted to do right by them.
Yeah, for sure.
And say that this is a decent product, and, you know, that there were a few like wibbly little problems with it, but I didn't like. I sort of not so much. Maybe I did gloss over, but like I tried to amplify the positives.
Yeah.
But these days, I'm, you know, if it was an independent toy manufacturer making the toy that they wanted to make out of pure passion, I would still give them the sort of benefit of that. But with something like Roboson that's £1,000, then I'm not concerned about, like, if my opinion isn't going to sway you either way. If you have the means to make that purchase, then what I think isn't going to matter.
Yeah, if you're throwing $1,000 down, if you're able to do that without thinking on a toy, then
yeah.
You know, good on you, but obviously obviously I think it's going to be eventually a dagger in your heart.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm just waiting every day for the sword of Damocles to eventually snap and take my head off, and you know, then that's what happens to me.
Big robot horse's head found in your bed.
Oh, please. Big Skylink's head. That'd be amazing.
Oh, I fucking love Skylink so much.
He's come up several times in this, hasn't he?
Yeah, I love it. That, honestly, like, that's, to me, the last one, the Commander class one, is the epitome of, like, what makes a good update to a toy. And it's just not... It didn't try to do anything mad fancy. I would have liked it to have walked, but I understand why it doesn't. All these things. I
Yeah,
just
that's
love
not
it
going to
bits.
happen anymore, is it?
No, we're not going to... We can't even get, like, the basic gimmicks. Never mind the walking gimmicks. But
It's fine. It's not the world we exist in anymore, is it?
no. Stop living in the past, all of my listeners.
It's still like stuff from the 80s. Sad.
I just want to say thank you so much to you for giving this time to me.
Thank you for having me. This has been a delight. You are delightful, and it's been nothing but pleasure.
Nothing but pleasure.
Experience. Yeah.
Nothing but pleasure would be a good T-shirt or badge.
There we go. We'll hook that up for TF Nation.
Yeah.
Phew.
Nothing but pleasure.
Nothing but pleasure.
What would you like to plug before we go? As if this is giving you any kind of audience extension or reach, but what would you like to plug?
Please have a look at my channel. It's go to toygrind.com. It'll redirect you to the actual channel link that I can't remember. Also, we've got Rogue Limb on Bandcamp, roguelimb.bandcamp.com. We've got an album out, It's All Right. We have some shirts and patches available for purchase. And more than anything, I'd like your listeners to have a lovely day. I'd like that to be the overriding message.
Oh, nice. Well, that's kind of the antithesis of what I usually say. So that's good to hear. I still
And get fucked.
Yeah, 3 episodes in, I still don't have a sign-off yet.
There you go. Have that one for free.
Okay, well, please check it out on TRDQ.org as well, and all that other pish that you hear people say at the end of podcasts. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Secret Hot Tub Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Gav.
You might be
Thanks for
pregnant.
gaffing me.
That's it.
That's the one.
A sign-off that I don't say, that the
Gavin
guest...
a good time. Gavin a good time. Fuck me, that's terrible.
Gavin a laugh. But yeah, okay, well, thank you very much. We'll see you all next time, where my guest will be Baraka from Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, I love him.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty good. I was pretty excited that he said yeah.
Huge fan, I'll have to tune in.
For once.
Nah.